Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Bring It On. Let's talk to Sosiel about his gambling problem. Good afternoon, Commander. How can I help you? Heard that you've been rather busy playing cards at night. Cards? Me? Sosiel looks away in embarrassment. Who could possibly think? I've only visited the games once or twice, to get a sense of what our soldiers do when they're off duty. You think I'm addicted to gambling? Nothing of the sort. Don't worry. I'm absolutely fine. Okay. I guess we'll wait until... nighttime? Can I adjust how long I rest for? I haven't actually messed with this before. If I knew what time it was, I might rest for 15 hours.
I wonder if you were the son of a humble innkeeper in Absalom, and not the son of a count, would you be just as unbearable?
I haven't the faintest clue. But I do know that I probably wouldn't be an orphan whose entire family had been wiped out by demons.
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, someone could summon demons in Absalom and they could have killed his family. Like, maybe no matter what timeline or, you know, dimension he's in, like, his family's fated to be killed by demons. Well, this looks like nighttime. Perfect.
Time's not waiting.
What is she doing over there? Or he? Yeah, I don't actually know if I was a he or a she. I don't think they told me before, or when we first spoke to him. But assume it's a she. Versant Vain, traitor of the Crusades. I could have given him a better epitaph. The soldier stares at his cards in the dim light of a candle stub. Give me 2 more. I'll double down. Coins clink as they land on the barrel. Give me another one. What? Another one? Are you bluffing, you little crap? Wait until we land on our cards, and you'll see if I'm bluffing. You don't immediately recognize Sosiel's voice. In battle, he is quiet and composed. Now you can hear furious, passionate excitement in his words. Fine, you scumbag. I'll call. Give me another as well. Excitement, passion, and tension seem to hang over the improvised table. Feels like lightning is about to strike. Let's say nothing. Darn, I'm out. Soldier angrily throws his cards on the barrel. Go on, show us what you've got. Read them and weep. Soldier reveals his cards with a gloating laugh. Nothing but junk. I knew it. You holier-than-thou types can't bluff. But they can buff. I was, and you fell for it. With this, Sosiel slams a card on each of the soldier's shoulders, it's hard to say, like epaulets, and places the rest of the cards on top of his opponent's head. Now you've done it, you. The soldier grabs Sosiel by the collar, and the cleric immediately raises his fist, as if he expected it. At this point, one of the other players spots you in the shadows. Hey, there's someone over there. We've been caught. The jig's up. Let's bail. The candle stub is snuffed out. The cards are scattered into the mud. After a moment, only the embarrassed Sosiel remains. What are you doing here? His voice no longer holds excitement. We did nothing wrong. Well, tempers flared a bit. That usually doesn't happen. I swear it. Do you think this is an appropriate place for a cleric to be spending his time? Where? Miss the soldiers resting between battles? Where I can monitor how they're coping with everything they've seen and done? Yes, I think it's a very appropriate place for a cleric. Yeah, I was worried that you'd gotten yourself into trouble. Thank you. I'm touched, really, but I'm perfectly fine. I was just making sure no one else got into trouble. I know you never lied to me, so I think you must be lying to yourself. You didn't come here to minister to the soldiers. Why else would I come here then? Want a copper or two? You provoked that soldier. You're practically begging for a fight. I was? No, you misunderstood. That was... Sosiel searches for the right words to explain himself, but grows dejected and lowers his eyes. You're right. Shame on me. I provoked the fight. I behaved unacceptably. Forgive me, Shaylin. Don't be foolish. You're mortal, just like the rest of us. Not some all-powerful deity of mercy. You need time to relax just like the rest of us. Please be honest with yourself. After a long silence, Sosiel nods. Thank you. It's all jumbled up in my mind. This war and the horrors it holds. Our soldiers and what they tell me in their confessions. My own responsibilities. Lines from Holy Scripture. In the midst of all this, it's easy to forget I have my own needs and desires. Thank you for reminding me. The cleric picks up a dirty playing card and twirls it in his fingers. I will not come here again. Please, don't forbid these games. Things here are mostly civil, I swear, aside from the rare heated argument. I'll be honest, I miss playing cards. But that excitement when you have almost no chance of winning, and the risk is high, even though the stakes aren't life or death, just a handful of coppers. But I'll try to find a less destructive outlet. Perhaps I'll speak to Irabeth and ask her to play chess with me. I wonder what will come of it. Sosiel smiles. Thank you for helping me clear my mind. Good night. Alright, that was easy. Just left Bismuth behind.
I'll go ahead.
Or Triceratops. Alright, we can probably leave and go to the northeast.
No mistakes.
Would much rather have Regil in my party, but him and Greybor kind of fill the same role, so I don't want to bring both of them. Oh wait, army's probably ready to move, isn't it? Marksman and Spearman. Yeah, we'll clear out some more demon rabble. Alright, slow going, but could be an easy victory. Don't need to get fancy and waste any energy, I don't think. Why didn't it explode? I thought all units exploded when he killed them. The Crusaders killed the cultists who were gathering an army of wild giants to storm Dresden. Now that Dresden is safe, workers can be transferred from the urgent strengthening of the walls to other important tasks. like that. I'm just going to go ahead and Scorching Ray that so my archer doesn't have to move. Alright, then we just whittle down these guys and call it a battle. Chasing elementals away to their home planes, Crusaders find a huge crystal filled with magical energy. It appears that it was imbued with the elemental force many years ago and convoyed to Dresden but never arrived. Its guards have perished, and the crystal itself, a powerful vessel of magical essence, has been drawing elemental spirits year after year. Fire elementals are chumps, aren't they? Alright, hopefully we level up off that. The fortress is a sanctuary for spellcasting demonologists. The fire that started during the battle spread to the libraries, filled with blasphemous knowledge. The glow of this massive fire lights up the dark expanses for miles around. We did level up, perfect. Alright, so Magical Channeling 1. The General has a plus 5% bonus to energy recovery per level of this feat. Arcane Magic. General casts spells with Arcane Descriptor as if he has a plus 5 bonus to power per level of this feat. That might be good with Fireball. Divine Magic. The General casts spells with the Divine Descriptor as if he has a plus 5 bonus to power per level of this feat. We're going Arcane Magic. Alright, Commander's Court. Went right past it. How do I get to it? Is it from Dresden? Alright, so Commander's Court. The picturesque rock has become home to the Commander's allies, who found the walls of Dresden and their bounds of an official crusade too cramped. Okay, so we have a few people here to talk to. Let's take a look around before we do that.
I know the way. On the goal. I know what to do.
Practice makes perfect. Precisely.
They added a new run animation for the dwarves in this game. How far does this go?
Follow my lead.
Keeps on going, doesn't it? Alright, let's get back here and talk to, the Maestro Aventurine. As you approach, the commotion at the top of the ridge dies down for a moment, before soaring to new heights. That's him. Yes. Look at the butterflies. Hello? There's a dragon here too, you know. I'm way more interesting than a butterfly. And it was me who asked Don Quixote to come here anyway. Who's a good little dragon? Ivu's a good little dragon. You see old friends, the 3 dozen adepts from Canabras, standing at the head of the crowd. Don Quixote, finally. We rushed here as soon as we heard what happened in Dresden. We brought friends too. Except we've only just met some of them. Ilks. That's a familiar name. Allow me to introduce them. Mitris... Oh, that's right, he's one of the Desnans. Allow me to introduce them. Matris Ola Devara, illustrious exiled alchemist. Those formidable warriors, they were halflings from the temple of Chaldira Zusaristan, the goddess of battle and recklessness. This is the famous street artist Maestro Aventurine, a pseudonym of course. Rare is the administrative building in Avestan that has escaped his brush. And here in front we have our mounted gnomish contingent, the cavalry sculptors. We have all come here to help fight the force of the abyss. Why was Maestress Ola exiled? Prejudice, that's why. The disheveled woman shakes her head in disdain. Her clothes look as though they've been singed a dozen times over, and tried through various paints at least a dozen times more. For some reason, people are suspicious of alchemists who worship Caden Kalian. They also consider my experiments dangerous, which is utterly preposterous, for one. Science comes at a price, after all. And besides, it wasn't I who caused that explosion back in Absalom and raised half a block. I mean, I wasn't even there. Still, now that I'm surrounded by open-minded people, I'll be able to unleash my talents and show those demons that bombs can protect us, as well as any prayers. What are the goddess Chaldira and her worshippers famous for? A belligerent-looking halfling salutes you with his sword. Chaldira is the goddess of mischief, battle, and luck, and a close friend of Desna the Moonmother. Chaldira is not the goddess of strategic planning, put it that way. As her worshippers, we charge headlong into battle, leading others into the fray, and we despise evil in all its forms. My friends and I have long wanted to support the Crusades, but this is the first time we've seen a leader we're willing to follow. An artist on a crusade, a street artist to boot. Dusty galleries and pompous patrons aren't quite my scene, is Maestro Avon's dignified response. I only paint in places where everyone can see my work and appreciate its special meaning. I used to paint flowers in the sun on the walls of besieged forts to make the attacking armies realize they were destroying another's peace and joy. I once depicted the acts of Iomedae in a painting in the middle of the Chelaxian capital, not because I worship her, but rather to remind the people of Cheliax that this proud, tyrant-toppling goddess was born there. I don't yet know what I'll create here in the World Wound, but I feel I must play some part in the salvation of this land. Cavalry sculptors? Exactly. One of the gnomes sitting on the saddle grins happily, looking from head to toe a brigand. The cavalry sculptors are an ancient and revered gnomish society. In certain circles, that is. Our only rivals are the pikemen confectioners. But they don't have a noble legend that tells of the creation of their society, unlike us. According to this legend, a brave gnome knight once participated in a battle that lasted many days. He had to ride into battle down one and the same path, past one and the same boulder. Soon he was fed up with it. He started to chip off a piece of the boulder each time he rode past it, eventually carving it into a giant apple. The little game turned out to be so captivating that soon the knight's entire squad began to do the same. Then the enemy joined in too. It goes without saying that they were all gnomes. The war soon ended, but before it did, they had carved all kinds of fruit and vegetables from a dozen boulders and a couple of rocks. All well mounted too. And that is how our noble society was born. Are you all going to join my army? Of course not, Aranka replies, clearly speaking for everyone. We didn't come here to march around in neat little rows like all the Crusaders who come before us. We're here to answer the call in of our hearts. We're going to help you in every way we can. We'll all do something for our cause, but we're free spirits. We take orders from no one, and we certainly do not join in other people's war games. Army discipline and the grey walls of Dresden do not stir our hearts, Don Quixote. Yet I know that you are the wind of change we've been waiting for. In Canabris, I witness your kindness, bravery, and tenacity. I'll follow you straight into hellfire. All of us will. But we'll tread our own path. But we will each tread our own path. Now what am I going to do with you? I know what you need to do. Knight them. Iva whispers loudly. She continues, a little embarrassed, as Aranka and the others look at her in surprise. I mean, I've been told many stories about Galarian, and that's what always happens in them. Don Quixote's a knight commander, right? That means he can knight you all. Ordinary knights are a bit boring, but I know Don Quixote will make your oath really exciting. I like the sound of that. We'll be the, Free Crusaders. What do you think, Don Quixote? Just make up an oath for us so we can be knighted. Then we'll start our campaign against the demons, and they will tremble before us. Yeah, I could do either one of these. I'm gonna go with this one. So let your eloquence flow forth. A wave of inspiration swells within you. Brothers and sisters, our paths have led us here to this place on this day, because we are guided by the same stars and beckoned by one and the same dream. Ours is a dream of freedom and of the triumph of light over darkness. I'm not here to rule over you, but rather to be the first among equals, as long as you're willing to follow me. Stand up, brothers and sisters. Henceforth, you shall be my free knight crusaders. Iva whispers loudly in your ear. You should have added something at the end, like cookies for everyone, except we probably don't have any cookies. Well, I can fly off quick and bring some back. Oh wow. What was that? Where did it come from? I bet a jar of strawberry jam it came straight from Elysium. I mean, I don't have any strawberry jam, but still. The big grown-up dragons in my family can transform their environment like this. But how did you do it? All the wallflower scratches at the bridge of his nose, clearly anxious. We've seen something like this happen before. Don Quixote was back in Canabris, in the temple where we all gathered together. A glowing aura enveloped you. We heard music that wasn't actually there, just the same as this time. A wondrous power dwells within you, and it's growing. Yeah, everyone says I've been blessed by the gods. Yes, but I'm almost certain this isn't the work of Iomedae. Or at least, not hers alone. Your power, it's like a song of freedom, of lush wilderness, of the deepest longings of the heart, of Elysium. The warriors of heaven are too proud to possess or grant such a power. This type of power is brought into the world by Azadas, the children of freedom, and the deities of their plane, of whom Desna, our guiding star, is one. If my power manifests itself spontaneously, I don't know why it happens. Wallflower looks at the little patch of nature that appeared out of nowhere. We'll try to figure it out, all of us. I need Matrix Ola's help, and the others too. We'll set up a camp right here in the ridge, and monitor any new changes. There's not much to analyze yet. I've only witnessed 2 cases where something unusual happened around you. Both cases were spontaneous, and both times you were surrounded by people who had been helped and inspired by you. The first time it happened, you saw a vision, but now a fragment of that vision has been brought to life. Who knows, Don Quixote? Maybe you'll be able to heal the entire world wound, just like you healed this little patch of rock. And what are you going to do now? We'll set up camp here. Our learned friends will observe this Garden of Elysium and study it. The artists among us will start working on their art. I'll help the Chaldean halflings prepare to launch raids against the demons. The cavalry sculptors, I have no idea what they'll do, but I hope they'll keep themselves busy somehow. Drop by in a couple of weeks, will you? We'll have settled in by then. We may even have something else to show you, but it's a secret for now. You forgot the most important part. Honestly, what do you all do without a smart little dragon like me around? Azadas have courts. The Court of Silent Laughter, for example, or the Court of the Flaming Storm. They always have such pretty names. People come to the courts freely, and then stay because they like it there, and have some affinity with it. That's why Don Quixote has to give this place a name. It's his court, after all. We'll do Freedom's Few. Fits the theme of the Azada, I think. Set up camp here, come and see us later. So we can rest here as well. Everyone's so crowded around here. Alright, let's rest and then we'll dip out. Oh, there we go.
I haven't made a confession for a long time. Of course, we have different goddesses, but still. Could you listen to my confession?
Of course. Let's go somewhere we won't be overheard.
Alright, let's bounce out of here. We should be able to get some more Crusade battles in real fast before we wrap up the episode. And then in the next one, we'll probably start heading west with our party. Ashen Grotto and so on and so forth. I do want to get to Grimwood as soon as we can with him. Though his doesn't have a timer on it, so I don't know how that's actually going to play out. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Alright, when Sonvane turned to evil... Wait, we've read this before. The cleansing it does what? Let's do daily uses of lay on hands, fervor, and channel energy class abilities, if you possess them. Charm it. Your mount gets a +3 bonus on all saving throws and a +3 bonus to CMD. I'm gonna keep it as is. Solskjaer Glaive became the disgraceful symbol of Sonvane's falling. The dark spells cast by a demoness named Inago filled it with force. Now the sinister weapon will turn against the demons of the world wound. Yeah, I mean, why not? It's pretty cool. Summoning stuff is always cool. Alright, forming a logistic council. The success of military action depends on a regular supply of everything troops need, the judicious distribution of resources. The logistic council made up of experienced officers will ensure there is no chaos in the army while the commander's attention is focused on the front line. And forming a diplomatic council. The crusade depends on the support of the Nerosian and foreign countries. Or of... not of the... The diplomatic council will see to it that no political problems interfere with the regular inflow of gold and recruits to Dresden. Sure. I don't see why not. Alright, army. Let's start marching. Alright, why don't you calm down? The gang of demons hunting runaway slaves was not reckoning on facing the commander's conquering forces. Among the bloody corpses, the Crusaders discovered a dark, godforsaken altar fashioned from the teeth of demons' captured victims and the webs of the monstrous mechanical spider retrievers. The soldiers clamored to burn it, but the more tactically minded officers decided not to rush into anything and pass it on to the commander for examination. Altar of the Dark Retrievers. I would unequip this from... barely a soul has ever managed to escape the revenge of the demons. The fiends dispatched their retrievers, the creepy mechanical spiders they created for hunting, silently track down their enemies, runaway slaves, or renegade cultists. As legend has it, the first retriever was made by the demon lord Hagenti, the Lord of Transformation. Throughout the ages, the first retriever fell under the ownership of difficult demon masters, but was an impeccable servant to all. A mortal heretic and twice renegade finally put a halt to the first retriever's murderous servitude. The Templar of the Ivory Labyrinth, whose name is unknown, repented of his deeds and left the cult. The first retriever was sent forth on his trail, but never returned. Both retriever and prey fell in the fight. Later, the demons discovered the retriever's remains in Cobweb and turned them into an altar. The retriever's ravenous hunger seeped into the altar. Decades later, worshippers took their sacrifices there, ripped out teeth of all who tried to flee demon's wrath, but were caught and slain. I don't know what these things are for, these items. I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually. Keep taking out these armies to the north, because we're up here, we may as well. Alright, that was a clean victory. I'll take it. Begging for mercy, one of the imprisoned demons points to an inconspicuous crack in the rock that their unit had been ordered to guard to the arrival of a pack of slaves. Examining the crack, the Crusaders return to the commander and proudly display a handful of shining dust to him. The crevice is home to an adamantine lode. This rare and precious metal will come in useful to the Mendevian army. We're just blowing through all these armies. Smooth sailing. Right. Perfect. I could melt them with Scorching Ray, but they hardly do any damage to us. There's no reason to waste energy. Alright, easy peasy. Here, during the First Crusade, the Radiant Serenray performed a miracle and granted the Crusaders victory in a battle that was otherwise lost. Years later, during the Second Crusade, the men of Knights clashed with the Army of the Abyss here once again. They fought to the bitter end, but the miracle never happened again. The carnage was atrocious, and those who fell found no repose and rose again as the undead. Finally, they found peace in the flames of bonfires. The statue of the Sun Goddess was cleansed of blood and dirt, and from her chest, in trembling hands, the Crusaders removed a sacred golden symbol from her chest. From her chest, it's redundant. A relic long believed to have been lost. Faultless Daybreak. In the course of the First Crusade, a group of Serenray worshipping healers went to the aid of Galfrey's army. However, in the dark of the night, they were attacked by a gang of demons and demon-worshipping cultists, who had edged into their rear. Though unskilled in battle, the clerics and healers fought desperately, repelling one attack after another, but the sides were not evenly matched. No one was left to repel the final attack. All of the Serenray adepts were wounded, no one was able to raise their sword, so they met the enemy with prayer. And a miracle happened. The morning broke an hour early, and the first rays of dawn expelled the demons into the abyss. The light healed the most terrible wounds of the mortals, and brought the fallen, whether righteous or sinful, back to life. But the believers and the misguided shed their tears. They fell to their knees as one, and prayed to the bright goddess for forgiveness. And forgiveness was granted. Not a single mortal died on that bloody night. The last and brightest ray of dawn blinded everyone, took the shape of the sacred symbol of Serenray. They named their relic the Faultless Daybreak, and placed it on the breast of a statue, mounted on the site where the miracle had happened. Alright, might be overextending a little bit, but we'll do one more fight. And then a slow battle against the Earth Elementals. The very, very slow battle against the Earth Elementals. They're kind of like the shield bearers of the demonic armies. Except they seem a little better than the shield bearers that we have. Granted, we do have a low number of shield bearers. I assume once we, build up their numbers, will be a lot more effective. Oh, hello, high morale. I like this. Alright, unexpectedly, the enemy leader's tent turns out to be a ship-shaped and tidy. Behind glass, an arcanumerium magical college diploma hangs on a post. In the chest, there's a ceremonial graduation robe and several magical inventions and patents, the brainchildren of the late cultist leader. One can only speculate on the tragedies that made him lead such a wretched existence. And we got a composite shortbow. Whenever this +3 composite shortbow lands a hit on an enemy, the enemy suffers an additional 1 to 12 piercing damage. That might be worth... giving to Arushale? Well, no, I guess she has a longbow feat, doesn't she? I gave her improved critical for longbows, I think. If I respec her, maybe I can make her a composite shortbow user instead. That's a really good bow. That's a lot of damage. Alright, so we need to get this army back down and around to take out this army here. But we'll deal with that next time. Next episode, we'll move westward with our party. Maybe make it to Ashen Grotto, hopefully. We'll see. And just keep on trekking. We actually have a lot to explore over here. And we also have Sweet Sleep, I guess, for sleeping at Freedom's Few. So for 1 hour, Nazad and her companions get a +2 luck bonus to all skill checks. It's pretty sweet. Alright, but I'm going to call it here. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.